And Gvardiol, then Gonzalez with Foden, De Bruyne as the whistle goes here, and Liverpool kick off. So Foden and Kevin De Bruyne, Savinho and Doku, and then Omar Marmoush in the absence of Erling Haaland. Omar Marmoush, who scored a hat-trick here last weekend against Newcastle. And the Liverpool team, just the one change for them, but they're on the attack here with Salah, who plays it into Gvardiol, who does well actually to tackle back with the run free for Salah, who plays it back up the line to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who couldn't thread the pass through to Gravenberch, who was near the edge of the box. So the Liverpool team, as Alexander-Arnold hits a crossfield pass, and that's taken down by Diaz, who plays it back centrally. Liverpool with Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson. Then Gravenberch with McAllister and Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, Salah and Diaz. Liverpool still attacking, their first choice kit as well, the red with the white trim, and McAllister's in an offside position. So Manchester City have a free kick deep inside their own half. In League One, it is Mansfield 1, Wrexham 2 now. Max Cleworth has scored the second goal for Wrexham. We'll have more on that shortly from Nick Hatton, who's there. And in the Six Nations, France now lead Italy 59-24 in Rome. Liverpool pick up possession. Curtis Jones centrally, then back Szoboszlai with a shot. That hits Lewis inside the penalty area. Foden then plays it out as Manchester City look to break here with Marmoush, and the Egyptian takes it over the halfway line. Still going Marmoush, then looks to his left. Doku is there, Jeremy Doku returning to the Manchester City starting lineup. Only one substitute appearance in the last 8 matches for him, and City go back towards the halfway line. And I must, Dion Dublin, mention listeners joining us from the World Service, particularly those who are joining us in Egypt. So great to have you with us. We'll be hot news, won't we, in Egypt today with Salah against Marmoush. Here is De Bruyne, low ball in, and Konate is there to prevent it from reaching Foden, who's able to side-foot it out of play for the first corner of the match to the home side.
Yeah, nice pace this is, really nice pace, good start to the game. Both sides at the moment just allowing their opponents to have the ball, dropping back into the final third, seeing what they've got. This will be interesting though, first corner of the game.
Yes, it will. Foden to take this from the right-hand side. Liverpool, who are in the... as the ball comes in, it's punched away by Alisson across his 6-yard box to get his hands to that from Foden, who whipped it into the back post. City still have it with De Bruyne, right-footed bowling, glancing header from Gonzalez, and that was deflected up and over and behind off Van Dijk for another Manchester City corner. Nico Gonzalez, who scored right at the end in the Bernabeu the other night.
Yeah, Marmoush is just staying on the edge of the D at the moment, alongside Kevin De Bruyne, just ringing that for any little bits and bobs coming out.
So another right-sided corner for Manchester City. Foden it is, again to the back post, and this time Alisson gets up high, stretches his arms and catches the ball quite comfortably. So it is 0-0 in the very early stages. 5 Live from the BBC, as I say, World Service are with us as well. And remember, you can listen to all of live BBC Radio via BBC Sounds, via the app. It will change your life if you haven't got it already. Italy 24, France 61 is now the latest score in Rome. So Liverpool are here, having not won in their last 7 visits in all competitions. Almost 7 years since they won here. Remember, it was the second leg of the Champions League tie between the sides, where Liverpool had already won at Anfield. Here's Diaz on the left-hand side. Diaz approaching the edge of the area. Robertson an option, but he goes crossfield. But Gvardiol is able to volley that away. No danger of it reaching Salah. And now Doku. There's an appreciation of him skipping his way past Trent Alexander-Arnold, but City go back into their own half.
Yeah, it's okay doing that. I don't mind a little bit of skill, but when you do those little bits of skill, Trent Alexander's flying back into his right back spot. Doku goes by him twice, turns around, plays it back to his centre half. It's a pointless piece of skill unless you can, I don't know, break the lines even better. Great skill, but use it.
Well, here he is again. Doku puts his foot on the ball. Now, there we are, Dion. He's gone round the outside of Alexander-Arnold. Plays it through to Marmoush, left side of the box. Marmoush drives it across, headed away by Liverpool. Comes out to Rico Lewis, who's able to take that down. And must have heard you there, Dion. Yeah, absolutely, that was a response.
Yeah, but it was so much better. He's on the halfway line, opposite the dugout.
Played over the top by Gonzalez. This is for Marmoush. It bounces away from the penalty area, and actually Marmoush was in an offside position, and it's a free kick to Liverpool, 0-0.
I mean, it's great. It's great from Doku on the far side, as I say, opposite the dugouts, and He's put his studs on top of the ball, and Trent Alexander's in a really good position. There's no space for him to go. He rolls his foot over it. It goes past Trent. He goes down the line, leaves Trent for dead, and puts his teammate in. If he'd have done that in the first place, maybe they would have had another chance. But that's what you need. Great bits of skill. Get something at the end of it.
So Liverpool take this free kick. Having, as I say, not won here for almost 7 years in the Premier League. It's almost a decade since Liverpool won here in what was Jurgen Klopp's first match here as the Liverpool manager. A handsome win as well. It was Manuel Pellegrini, not that we knew it at the time, the outgoing Manchester City manager that season. I remember him taking it very, very badly that night, as you would. Manchester City playing from left to right in the first half. That's given away. And therefore, Diaz says thank you very much and sets off on a run towards the Manchester City penalty area. But then it comes to nothing, and Liverpool have got it back. Interested to see how it is going to work between Jones and Szoboszlai and McAllister. Obviously, they've got Gravenberch behind them, but there's a lot of fluidity to it, isn't there? With Diaz on the left-hand side, Salah over there on the right, and here is Diaz now, chesting it down. Gakpo is on the bench, might see him later. Diaz up against Lewis, little shimmy, takes him on again, then actually gets it all wrong, much to the amusement of the Manchester City supporters, who mock him for miscontrolling it, and City breaking with Savinho, and then Kevin De Bruyne back to Savinho, and City go back into their own half.
Well, we spoke about who's going to play up front for Liverpool and who's going to play up front for City. Well, Foden's up down the number 9 spec at the moment. Szoboszlai's playing down the middle as well. He keeps swapping with Jones. So at the moment, nobody's got a position. They're floating around, all of them. Marmoush is going just in front of Phil Foden. So they're still figuring it out.
There's a distinct lack of a centre forward on the pitch, Dion.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, so it is sort of Marmoush and Foden as the two central players for Manchester City, and really, as you say, it's the two midfielders, Szoboszlai and Jones, who are the middle front two at times. It's Jones furthest forward now, putting pressure on Nathan Ake, who had to come on when John Stones picked up that really unfortunate injury in the opening stages just after Manchester City had conceded the early goal in the Bernabeu the other night. Doku, ball bounces to him off Ryan Gravenberch. Doku turns, plays it back to Marmoush, and the new Manchester City number 7 has a goal from distance. It actually hits Konate, bounces down to De Bruyne. He turns, gives it back to Lewis. Now it's with Savinho on the right-hand side. Savinho into Foden, opens his body and shoots, but weakly straight at Alisson, who's just able to plant his feet apart and scoop up the ball.
Yeah, it was Foden on the edge of the box. He just receives it from the right-hand side. He lets it run across his body onto his left foot, opens the goal out, but he just catches it wrong, bobbles it into Alisson's chest. But before that, Marmoush's strike was travelling from about 35 yards on target as well. So he's not going to be shy all day today, let me tell you.
No, well, he didn't have much of a look in Madrid, I can tell you. On Wednesday night, he was... I don't think he had an opportunity, Marmoush. Hat-trick on the Saturday against Newcastle, and then almost anonymous in Madrid against the holders, who were excellent, weren't they? Mbappe.
Yeah, were outstanding, weren't they? Great to watch.
Yeah, it was great disappointment for Manchester City, but to be there, to see Mbappe score his first Champions League hat-trick for Real Madrid was quite a thing, as Lewis is blocked by Robertson. Pep Guardiola's asking the questions.
He's not happy, is he?
He's not happy. He's suggesting that Robertson used an arm to block Lewis. Well,
it wasn't an arm, it was a hand.
It was a hand.
It was something.
He ran his fingers through Lewis's that lovely curly thick black hair.
We're only jealous. Only jealous
as he goes back City to the edge of their own penalty area. But Guardiola's made his point. A light dark blue, navy blue hoodie for Pep Guardiola today. City played over the top. This is for Doku to chase, but Alexander-Arnold was always the favourite to get that and just prods it out for a throw into City down the left-hand side. On a slot, just turns away and walks back to the dugout. Liverpool against Paris Saint-Germain in the round of 16 of the Champions League. Not the easiest of draws by any means, but the second leg will be at Anfield. We'll bring you both of those on 5 Live. This will be the place that you hear the commentary. But no European football for Manchester City, and it's still just February. Last 7 seasons they've been in the quarter-finals or beyond, and it's 12 years since they didn't make it to the round of 16. Strange times for Manchester City, the modern Manchester City, as Robertson's just going to allow this to roll out of play next to Savinho for a throw-in to the visitors. The team that are now even stronger favourites to win the title this season, to get it back from Manchester City and to win it for a record-equalling 20th time, and significantly as well for those Liverpool supporters who are here in their numbers. Of course, when they won it back in 2020, Liverpool fans weren't in Anfield. Here is Husanov, who just steers the ball forward towards Doku. Doku then finds Alexander-Arnold facing him up. So Doku, on his right foot, plays it all the way back to Nico Gonzalez, the new number 14. Husanov is then forced by Liverpool to give it across to Ake and then all the way back to Ederson.
Yeah, a couple of key battles here today. I mean, Diaz against Rico Lewis down Liverpool's left. He's going to need help. Rico Lewis from Savinho getting back and doubling up because of Diaz's pace, and you've got the same on the other side as well with Doku and Trent. Is Konate going to come out the centre and help, or is Gravenberch going to come back and help him as well? So lots of hard work to be done.
Kevin De Bruyne goes for a long pass over the top down the right wing. Savinho, first time ball across, bounces back almost to Savinho, but Robertson was able to coolly, having seen Savinho get away from him, Robertson was able to coolly intercept on the edge of the box. But De Bruyne looking for that. Yeah. Savinho against Robertson.
Absolutely, yeah, and rightly so.
Yep, and now Gvardiol on the other side. Josko Gvardiol carrying the ball a long way, and then finding Foden, heavy touch, cleared by Van Dijk, and then Kevin De Bruyne, unlike him, trying to steer the ball out to Doku, passed it straight into the path of Alexander-Arnold, who was able to play it forward to Salah, and Salah's away from Ake, and Salah takes it on into the box. Sliding challenge comes in from Husanov, and he gets a big round of applause. A little risky from Husanov, sliding in like that on Salah inside the penalty area, but he got enough of it, the ball, and City cleared.
Yeah, had to make a decision there. I mean, Ake was so tight to Salah. Salah just put the ball in behind him. Got a bit lucky with a few ricochets, but Salah's in, and then light blue shirts everywhere, and Kusanov had to make a decision. Do I go to ground? But he did make the right decision. Well played.
Yes. Mo Salah, banging form, top scorer in the Premier League, although Isak has got a couple of goals closer to him today. Isak on 19 after the 2 that he scored against Nottingham Forest earlier. Salah, though, out clear in the Premier League on 24, and he has scored 20 goals in his last 19 league appearances, Mo Salah. But there, City had enough defenders back, and Husanov will feel a bit better about things there, as Lewis is in danger of losing possession. He has. Jones now to Szoboszlai just outside the D. Szoboszlai back onto his left foot, and then lays in Diaz. Diaz took a touch, left-footed ball across, is blocked at the near post by Husanov and behind. Just feel Liverpool didn't take full advantage of that.
Absolutely, completely agree. Szoboszlai, he's in the D. Szoboszlai's come from the left-hand side. He's rolling across him. All he's got to do is put his laces through it with his right foot. He doesn't, and then he puts it into Diaz's space as well. I'm right behind. I'm thinking, Diaz, you're 15 yards out on the angle. Use your right foot, curl it into the far corner, and they take 2 wrong options. A good chance for Liverpool, that.
So it is a corner for Liverpool. It is an overcast afternoon here on the east side of Manchester, and just a little lull inside the stadium as McAllister waits to take this corner. Right-footed low to the near post, steered across the box, and then Salah with a shot that's deflected in, and Liverpool have the lead, and Salah stands stock still on the penalty spot and allows his teammates to surround him. Salah with the opening goal. That is 30 for the season for the Egyptian, and it is Manchester City 0, the Premier League leaders Liverpool 1.
Yeah, I just don't know how City have got undone by that one. I really don't. It's off the training ground. It's into the near post. I'm pretty sure it was Virgil van Dijk that comes to the near post and just nudges it round the corner off his right foot. Is it Szoboszlai? I'm not quite Szoboszlai. I think Szoboszlai comes to the near post. He goes beyond the 6-yard line and he just rolls it over his left shoulder to the penalty spot. And who's arriving there but the man of the moment, Salah, hits the target. It does take a huge deflection, but that is right off the training ground. City have got caught cold. Lots of kisses for the Liverpool staff there on the bench, hugging and kissing. It worked.
Yeah, beautifully worked. Beautifully worked. McAllister's low corner just rolled it in, really, to the near post. And a little flick, he just sort of helped it on its way. And I mean, he couldn't have delivered it any better to the feet of all people.
And that's
Salah.
That's the key. The key is the two passes. The pass from the corner into Szoboszlai's feet, and then Szoboszlai has to keep it on the floor for his teammate.
Manchester City 1-0 down, ominous again, but Doku attacking, and Robertson in the 6-yard box is able to clear it out of play. Although Salah, no, he can't keep it in. And actually, as it was bouncing out of play, Salah has lumped it into the crowd, and the Manchester City supporters are suggesting that he's delayed the restart, that referee Anthony Taylor's not going to have anything to do with that. So there we are. Salah scores his 30th goal of the season. So that is... once again, Mo Salah reaching that milestone, and also clocking up a number of other milestones as well, as he is wont to do. That is the 5th time in 8 seasons at Liverpool he's hit 30 goals in all competitions, and that is 25 now in the Premier League, so extending his lead there as well. And I mean, he hit it so well, it took a flick off the leg of Nathan Ake.
It did, but you know, the way that they worked it, the pace of the pass, the appreciation to keep the ball on the floor for your teammate, to make the finish as easy as possible.
Reminds me a little bit of the way that, do you remember Manchester City at Anfield last season worked a corner brilliantly and scored, and here Liverpool have done it at the home of Manchester City. But here's Savinho down the right-hand side, who looked across, but as he did so, he lost his sight on the ball, and it ran away from him behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, Savinho goes down the right-hand side here, and as I said about Rico Lewis defending Diaz and Savinho having to get back to help Rico Lewis, Diaz has really ran 40-50 yards to help Robertson out there, and Savinho had no answer to the two red players trying to stop that ball going in the box. So doubling up, helping your teammate, hard work paid off. Goal kick for Liverpool just through sheer hard work.
So the goal being scored in the 14th minute, Mo Salah, and Manchester City already here with work to do, and Guardiola just had to be sharp there against Salah to stab it back to goalkeeper Ederson. So Liverpool have got them exactly where they want them. City with the ball inside their own half, and Liverpool supporters, it's them you can hear singing in the stand behind Alisson's goal to our right as Robertson heads it infield. Van Dijk passes it forward. Here's Gravenberch then back to Alexander-Arnold through the middle to Jones. Jones helps it on its way, but Ake is able to deal with that. And it's all over in the Six Nations. Today's match, Italy-France. Claire Thomas.
Rome has fallen, and then some. Les Bleus make an 11-try statement before their potentially decisive trip to Dublin in round 4. It is full-time at the Stadio Olimpico, where there are tricolours waving as far as the eye can see. And it is Italy 24, France a whopping 73.
So 24-73. Not as much activity, I don't think, at Field Mill in League One, where it's all over with you, Nick. Hatton?
Into the final 10 minutes, John. Mansfield 1, Wrexham 2. That second Wrexham goal coming from Max Cleworth just 5 minutes after he'd hit the bar. Ball in from the left-hand side, headed by the Mansfield defence, and Cleworth was there. Half volley from the edge of the box, fired low and hard past Flinders in the Mansfield goal. 10 minutes to go. Mansfield 1, Wrexham 2.
Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1 here. We'll be back with Nick when that's all over. But Manchester City with the ball with Husanov. 1-0 down. Manchester City, who have lost only 3 times this season here on their home stadium, but the first one was such a shocker when they lost 4-0 to Tottenham. Savinho plays it round the outside of Robertson, but too much on that, and Van Dijk just strolls across Dion, takes up possession and passes it back to his goalkeeper Alisson. I have to say it's quite a tough decision for me in terms of who the player of the season would be from this Liverpool side, but clearly Salah and Van Dijk are very much leading contenders. Here's Doku on the left-hand side. Doku against Alexander-Arnold, works it across, comes off Marmoush, but cleared away near the edge of the 6-yard box by McAllister to the halfway line. Taken down again by Gonzalez, and he finds Doku on the left wing. Doku up against Alexander-Arnold. allows the ball almost to come to a stop. It does now actually come to a stop. Just works it away from Alexander-Arnold, who had a little nibble. Alexander-Arnold then gets back a bit, but Doku beats him at the near post, plays the ball in, but it couldn't reach Foden. There were Liverpool defenders in there, and in the end it's out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City on the far side. They've been cheered by that, the way that Doku went round the outside of Alexander-Arnold again. That's the focal point of Manchester City's attack.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, a couple of minutes ago, I'm looking at Pep, and Pep shouting at Foden. Foden stood between Konate and Van Dijk, and he's shouting at Phil Foden, get yourself in the midfield, leave those two centre-halves, leave that space, leave them with nobody to mark.
Groans from the home supporters as Manchester City lose possession, and Van Dijk just knocks it in field. We're still waiting for the news, aren't we, Dion, about what will happen with Van Dijk and Salah at the end of the season, whether there will be an announcement about new contracts.
Yeah, and why is it taking so long?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't you just
I'm sure they've got their reasons.
Yeah. What, the club and player, you think?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, John,
I'm like you.
You've got your finger on the pulse here, John. You should know all this.
Well, what I do know, as Foden breaks forward with it on the right-hand side and gives it to Savinho, then back to De Bruyne, what I do know is there's always been the case that there are all sorts of rumours about this, that and the other when it comes to Liverpool and all of the big clubs. Here's Marmoush, now Doku on the left-hand side. You'll be well aware of that from your time at so many of those big clubs. Here's Marmoush again on the left-hand side. Marmoush infield, but blocking his progress was Salah actually, and then the ball bounces in the end out of play off, I think possibly Salah in the end, for a corner to Manchester City from the left.
Yeah, City are now, they're saying to themselves, just get the ball to Doku on that left-hand side, because Trent's not liking his trickery, he's not liking his pace, and then another Liverpool player comes up, doubles up as well, which leaves a spare City player somewhere.
City could do with a goal back quickly here in their current state. Marmoush is going to take this corner, so it'll be a right-footed in-swinger, just waiting off the field. Here he comes now, plays it to the near post, but headed away by Alexander-Arnold, and the ball bounces out of play nearer the halfway line for a throw-in, which is quickly taken by Marmoush, and he gets it back, the former Eintracht Frankfurt man. Doku, then back to Ake. Ake back out to the left side again, and then it's whipped in by Marmoush with some pace, but straight into the chest of Alisson, who was able to go down and hold it securely.
Yeah, in that same position as well, just off the left wing, about 10 yards away from Doku, about 5 yards away from the corner of the box. Marmoush, he likes that area, he just tries to hit the target with pace, and Alisson's been concentrating, but hits a target every single time.
Ball up for Salah, who holds it up against Gvardiol. Then he gets support. Szoboszlai playing it across to Jones. Jones works it to the left-hand side to Diaz, who took a heavy touch, and the ball deflected into the path of Lewis, who hurriedly got rid of it, and then Diaz landed on top of him. And in any case, the offside flag's up on the far side, so it's a free kick to Manchester City.
Nico Lewis had to make that decision. I mean, Andy Robertson was flying down the left-hand side to go on the overlap past Diaz, but he was offside, so he made the right decision. If in doubt, get that ball away as far from your goal as possible. That's
Dion Dublin, winner of the Premier League Golden Boot himself in his time. We're talking about happy memories of you playing against Frank Leboeuf and Marcel Desailly earlier in the afternoon, as Gvardiol sends a ball through, but Alisson's able to come out and pick it up before Marmoush or anyone else can get there, picking it up near the edge of the penalty area. Van Dijk would stand up against those two, wouldn't he, in terms of his abilities?
Oh, yes. I mean, they're all in that same sort of league, aren't they, really? The pairing of...
given away by Konate, but Doku's touch was heavy, and therefore McAllister was able to wallop it downfield, and Gvardiol had to be sharp there with Salah and Diaz buzzing around behind him. Lewis now is being forced back into his own right-back position, plays it up to Savinho. Robertson in with a challenge. Savinho goes down and wins the free kick. And the Manchester City supporters down in front of us are on their feet saying, are you going to speak to Andy Robertson? No, is the answer.
No, and Andy Robertson as well put his hand up straight away. He got too close to Savinho, caught him on the Achilles. No harm done, no pain for Savinho, and away you go. He held his hand up to that one. Referee seen it and let it go.
5 Live from the World Service. Just tripped him, didn't he?
Just clumsy defending, got too close.
Yep. 1-0 Liverpool lead through Mo Salah's goal. Mo Salah, that is his 13th goal in all competitions for Liverpool against Manchester City in 22 appearances. and he has now equalled Gordon Hodgson's total of 241 for Liverpool. So that means Salah is now third on that list, and this is a proper list. It's not just since 1992. This is a proper list of all Liverpool goal scorers, and he is third, along with Gordon Hodgson. Here's Lewis playing it infield towards Foden, but it bounces off Foden, and Diaz is able to work it infield and then play it back to Alexander-Arnold. Diaz continues his run, carrying it out now towards that man, Mo Salah, there on the far side. Salah then drives a pass. That is some pass. If Jones can reach that, but he can't. It runs away from him, out of play for a throw into Manchester City halfway inside their own half.
You know, if you take away his goals and his assists and his work rate, everything he does well, Salah, how strong is he to hold off the defenders that he holds off? They're all 5-6 inches taller than him, but he stands his ground. He's secure with the ball at his feet. Gvardiol's fighting him, but he holds him off, and he can still pick a pass. Yeah, he gets it wrong, but that allows your team to get up the pitch. What a player.
1-0 to Liverpool. And now it is Jones who's out here on the left-hand side, and it's Diaz and Szoboszlai who are the two centrally.
Yeah, they keep changing, John. They just, if Szoboszlai comes out to the left, he's pushing Jones in, saying, go inside, I'll do this for 2 minutes.
Yeah, but even if it had been Diaz on the left-hand side, I don't think he would have caught that pass from Mo Salah. David Raya might have caught it. You see his
yes,
run
yesterday? Yes.
That did tickle me. Quite high.
It's good pace.
High step.
Yes.
He got his knees up. Well done, David. Here's Lewis. Lewis turns and then plays it back into the centre circle to Nico Gonzalez. Pep Guardiola, 1-0 down again. Mentioned the defeats here. Defeats against Tottenham, then against Manchester United in the derby match with those late goals, and then Real Madrid, who scored the late goals to win it. Here's Doku now. Doku into the penalty area on the left-hand side, curls it across, but up goes Van Dijk to get his head to that. Seemed to have springs in his boots there. Suddenly he rose above everyone else and headed away.
Yeah, his positional play's outstanding, and even now when City have got the ball back to Ederson, Konate and Van Dijk are pointing and organising and making sure the full-backs aren't too far apart.
Husanov now, the Uzbek defender, just his fourth start for Manchester City. I thought he had a checkered time in the Bernabeu the other night. Some very good stuff, but some shaky stuff as well. Here's Doku now in the penalty area on the left-hand side, takes on Alexander-Arnold, low ball across. Konate this time collapsing down to clear it away back out towards the far side where Salah and Doku jumping against one another. Final touch was off the Liverpool number 11, and so the Manchester City number 11 instead takes the throw in. Arne Slot down there. What a season he continues to have now, winning 1-0 at the home of the champions. He's in discussions with Sipke Hulshoff as City try to bring this in with Savinho, who's claiming that he was just blocked there or tugged back, and he's got the free kick from Anthony Taylor as well. And this will be 25-30 yards out given the angle on the right-hand side. Szoboszlai just impeding him.
Yeah, it's very weak. I can't see much in it. Yeah, just a bit of a tug on the arm.
So it's a free kick to Manchester City with Marmoush and Foden standing either side of the ball. Two-man Liverpool wall that is being lined up by the bearded Brazilian Alisson, all in green, in the goal to our right. Foden just shifts from foot to foot. Could just drop it in, Foden, with his left foot, or it'll be the sort of curl away from the right foot of Marmoush. It is Foden who actually goes for goal. That was a comfortable one for Alisson, who just had to take a couple of mini steps to his left and pat it down.
Yeah, caught it well enough, Foden, but it was right down the heart of the goal, exactly where Alisson was caught. Simple one for Alisson. I was expecting Marmoush, actually.
Foden, who looked as though he'd found his form, didn't he, when he scored 6 goals in 6 appearances in January, but he's not scored since then, as Savinho and Robertson are again involved in a tangle. The Manchester City fans feel that was another foul by Robertson. Nothing given though. Lewis, now it breaks to Marmoush in the box on the right, shoots in! Across Alisson, but the offside flag is up. Marmoush sees it now and has to cut short his celebrations, and it remains 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, well done, linesman. He's in a great position. Ball through to Marmoush was good. However, he was about a yard offside, so easy one for the linesman that. But I think someone's down, actually. I'm not quite sure who it is.
It's McAllister, who I think in the midst of all that, as Marmoush was bursting through, he's either fallen awkwardly, I don't know, we'll see, but he's actually, the Liverpool physios have been called on to have a look at him. It's a super finish actually by Marmoush, in off the foot of the far post.
It was, but haven't we said this? We've said this, for quite some time actually, that if the flag doesn't go up and play continues, somebody's going to get hurt trying to get back to stop a goal. It's a collision between Marmoush and McAllister. It might be studs, it might be superficial, but McAllister's still down, but it's not going to count. So, how do you eliminate players possibly getting hurt if you put a late flag up? McAllister's now hurt.
It was Marmoush who landed on top of him, so McAllister was sliding in. Absolutely. As Marmoush shot, and then Marmoush just landed right on top of him, and whether he's landed on his leg, certainly landed on his body, he was fully Marmoushed.
Very good.
And while we've got this stoppage, the two managers, Arne Slot and Pep Guardiola, have called their players together for instructions of varying types, I would imagine, given a scoreline of Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1. It is now all over in the 3 o'clock kickoff in League One with you, Nick Hatton.
Yes, Mansfield 1, Wrexham 2, full time. Callum MacDonald with 2 goals in the first half. The first after 3 minutes in the wrong net, giving Wrexham the lead, putting an Ollie Rothband cross into the back of his own net. He got the equaliser though 14 minutes after that neat finish at the far post after a cross from the right. It was Max Cleworth though who got the decisive second goal for Wrexham. Lovely half volley from the edge of the box. Flinders in the Mansfield goal having no chance at all. So Wrexham get the win. They move to within 3 points of second place Wycombe. Full time Mansfield 1, Wrexham 2.
Still to resume here, Manchester City 0, Liverpool 1. McAllister has just walked off the pitch. He was being treated right next to the Liverpool dead ball line near the goal, so he's now trotting around the field, so I think he will come back on.
Yeah, and he's jogging now, which is good. I think it's one of those, I think it was studs maybe down the thigh, inside of the thigh maybe, but what we don't want is a hammy or a calf going when you're sprinting back trying to stop a potential goal. I think it's just a superficial one. He'll be on in 2 minutes.
Yep. So 1-0 Liverpool lead through the Salah goal, the firmly hit Salah goal that deflected in off Ake, but it was on target. It will be Salah's goal, his 30th of the season. McAllister just waiting to come back on. So we've heard that, in fact, there's 2 balls on the pitch now, so we'll have to deal with that. In fact, it's just popped off the field as Van Dijk plays it back to Alisson. So Wrexham have won. Wrexham in 3rd place in League One earlier. Watford 2-0 winners against bottom of the table Luton, looking increasingly bleak for them as Husinov heads it away for Manchester City. St Johnstone 1, Hearts 2, so bottom of the table St Johnstone losing in an hour earlier commentary match. A real thriller. Newcastle 4, Nottingham Forest 3. Manchester City attacking. Doku tries to latch onto this path from Savinho, but defenders in the way. Virgil van Dijk just came across and made sure it ran through all the way through for a goal kick. So a win for Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. We've already heard from Eddie Howe. We'll hear more on that match at half-time. And of course the League Cup final, the Carabao Cup final between Liverpool and Newcastle, just a few weeks away now, and 5 Live will be the place to listen to that. We'll be at Wembley on that Wednesday afternoon, the 16th of March. Here's Szoboszlai, centrally, Szoboszlai, then to Robertson, and Robertson's got space here in front of him, crosses the halfway line. Diaz on the left receives it from Robertson. Robertson's continued his run. Diaz comes in field, right-footed ball to the edge of the box. Salah is there, and he finds Alexander-Arnold, whose ball across is deflected behind by Ake of the near post, and it is a corner to Liverpool, free-flowing Liverpool.
Yeah, very good football, by the way, and the run from Trent Alexander's brilliant. The little disguise from Salah, he knows he's there, he looks the opposite way on his left foot, plays it down outside him because Trent's flying down the outside, and Trent, he's got about 2 or 3 red shirts he can pick out. He puts it into an area where he hopes one of his teammates would be, but he could have picked one out if he picked the right pass, because I think it was Jones that was standing free.
Yes, just took a couple of steps back. He was available, but Ake intercepted. The Ake interceptor. Liverpool with the Corner then from the right, over the top of Konate and headed away by Manchester City. Got up very high there, Konate, but not quite high enough. See, Real Madrid are actually playing right now against Girona, and Real Madrid winning 2-0 with goals from Luka Modric and Vinicius.
How old is Luka Modric now?
39.
78.
39 he is.
He's amazing.
Not 78 just yet. I think that's something like, trying to remember from the other night, I think that's his 523rd appearance for Real Madrid.
He's a little genius.
It's incredible.
Little genius.
Yeah. And he's played his part this season. We're going to hear from Nuno Espirito Santo, as they say in Portugal, at half-time. And we're going to hear from Lewis Miley as well, who scored the first Newcastle goal, the teenager, as Liverpool go all the way back to goalkeeper Alisson. Liverpool have got Manchester City exactly where they want them here. And generally, in terms of the Manchester City performance after Madrid, Pep Guardiola making 4 changes for this match. So Gundogan and Bernardo Silva on the bench as Konate is pulled over, so that's a free kick to Liverpool. De Bruyne coming back in, Doku, but no Haaland, of course.
I think City have done okay. I think Liverpool have just been more potent in that final third, picking right decisions, but I mean, with Doku, ball at his feet, and Savinho as well, they have danger men that can cause Liverpool problems, definitely.
Here's Diaz now on the left-hand side. Diaz running into the penalty area, then angling it back, but Robertson won't get there. De Bruyne does come across and is able to get a touch on that and deflect it out of play. Just to the 3 Liverpool substitutes who are there warming up. Darwin Núñez is one of them, Jota as well, and Tsimikas, Wataru Endo. It's not the most vigorous warm-up I've ever seen in my life.
It's like a warm down.
They're just like shuffling around. Because they're swaying to it.
I've got to admit, I've done a bit of shuffling myself.
Ball over the top for Salah. Salah into the penalty area, beats Gvardiol. Square then to Szoboszlai, who shoots in past Edison. It's 2-0 now to Liverpool inside the Etihad, and the Premier League leaders are going from strength to strength against the champions. So simple. 2-0.
So easy for Liverpool to tear City apart. I mean, Salah's got the ball and he's got so much time, and as he does, he creeps into the box. Szoboszlai himself, he must have been stood on the penalty spot, maybe 2 yards behind the penalty spot, for a good 2 or 3 seconds, unmarked, lets the ball run across his body, smashes it in the corner. Edison's wrong-footed, and there's only one light blue shirt trying to block this shot going anywhere near their goal. Defending was awful. Salah's got too much time, Szoboszlai's got too much time, and I think this might be chalked off. You know, I'm seeing a replay. Might be chalked off. Salah might have been offside from the very first original ball.
And I wonder if there's also an issue. No, I don't. Well, is that an issue of when Szoboszlai shot that Jones was in the eye line? Well, they've had a look at it, V.A.R, and they're happy. They're happy with that. And the goal stands: Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2.
Yeah, and have a look at the replay. It goes through the legs of Kusanov as well. It's just too easy. You cannot concede goals like that against a side like Liverpool. They continue to come. If you allow them shots on your goal, they will score inevitably.
Well, at Anfield in December, it was 2-0 to Liverpool. Here in Manchester at the Etihad in February, it's 2-0. And as Dion Dublin says, it's too easy. Here's Doku to Marmoush quickly onto the ball, then Konate with the challenge just outside the corner of the penalty area, goes down, free kick quickly given by Anthony Taylor, free kick to Manchester City, but it's another real blow to the collective of Manchester City.
Yeah, because City haven't played that bad, you know, they really haven't. What Liverpool have done, they've just been in a really good shape when they haven't got the ball, forcing City around the outside, forcing them to do something special, not allowing them to go in between centre-half and full-back. And City are trying to find a way and trying to find those chances.
Listen to that, Liverpool supporters, wherever you are, listening around the country or around the world on the World Service. That will sound like sweet music. Liverpool supporters singing in that way inside the home of Manchester City. Free kick though, City need something. As it's played in by Marmoush, but Konate was able to get up and head it back out to the far side, the City left from where it came in. Marmoush will try again, has had the ball in the net, but that was ruled out for offside. Doku now cheers for Alexander-Arnold from the Liverpool fans. A mini victory for him there. Comes back to the feet of the Belgian. Doku back to Gvardiol, and then Lewis across to the right-hand side to Kevin De Bruyne, who's been very quiet in the match, I would say. And then his crossfield pass is cut out again by Alexander-Arnold. Salah, who set up that goal, so 1 goal, 1 assist for Salah. Gvardiol goes to ground against Salah and comes out with the ball, so he heads forward for Manchester City. Doku, but there's Salah tackling back on Doku, still going, but Doku's away. He's around Alexander-Arnold, he crosses, it hits Konate, who threw himself into the path of it to deflect it behind. I wonder whether it might have struck an arm in there, but certainly Konate's reaction suggests not, because he's on his feet celebrating in front of the Liverpool supporters.
Yeah,
arms in the air.
Absolutely, hits him in the chest, stops the ball going into a dangerous area. That's what he's supposed to do. Stop the crosses, that's what you got to do. Konate does it really well, arms in the air as if to say, come on boys, get behind us.
Yeah, and as they say, Dion, they needed no second invitation.
Absolutely.
To do that. A corner from the left for Manchester City. Half-time approaching, Liverpool in control. 2-0 up. Marmoush into the near post, and it's headed away quite comfortably. A leap and a header to comparative safety by Andy Robertson. Comes back at the Liverpool defence, glanced across by Husanov to Savinho. Savinho then back to the edge of the area. De Bruyne hits the shot, but double deflection off Liverpool players inside the area. They're appealing. I don't know for what. Did they think it was offside? Whatever. Manchester City go back to the centre circle. Nathan Aki with a pass forward. And then Marmoush's ball through to the edge of the area into the path of Robertson, who's able to play the ball across the field and out of play on the halfway line. The Liverpool supporters in great voice. Remember, as I say, they've not won here inside this stadium for almost 7 years, and not won in the league here since 2015, the early weeks of Jurgen Klopp's time as the Liverpool manager. It was that long ago. But here they are well on the way to victory. 2-0 up, and Manchester City need to find something. Savinho and Lewis working together. Savinho's ball, that's cut out by Gravenberch. Diaz jumps over the top of it, and then, whirling dervish that he is, sets off, turns, then loses out. Lewis robbed him. Savinho to Marmoush, central position. Marmoush square to Kevin De Bruyne, a stretch from him, clips the ball across the penalty area, but headed away and back across by Van Dijk, and then Savinho wins a throw-in for Manchester City off the outstretched foot of the man who scored the second Liverpool goal, the Hungarian captain Dominik Szoboszlai. It's rainy now, rain, light, Manchester rain is sweeping across the Etihad from right to left, in much the same way that Liverpool have swept across the Etihad on 2 occasions. Brilliantly worked first goal from the corner. Here's Lewis though for City, cross in, headed away by Van Dijk, and it bounces out of play for a throw to City down the right.
Yeah, very rare that you see those 2 centre-halves for Liverpool leave the centre of the goal. They allow their teammates to go in and around them, in between them, outside them, but those 2 centre-halves stay in the centre of the goal and defend their goal.
City take the throw, and then Lewis wins another one of Szoboszlai. 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Lewis to take this throw in level with the edge of the Liverpool penalty area. So Liverpool leading through the goals from Salah and Szoboszlai, on their way to making it 23 league matches unbeaten, and to stretch their lead to double figures at the top of the Premier League table. They'd be 11 points clear with a victory. Here's Doku playing it across the box. Can't count City out yet though, not even this City. Savinho's cross bounces off a defender. De Bruyne works it back to the Brazilian. Savinho infield. There's Doku in a central position. Goes past a couple of challenges. Doku into the area on the right-hand side, into the shins of Robertson, and the ball bounces away out of play for a throw-in next to the corner flag. So Salah and Szoboszlai with the goals. Drop in another Salah milestone for you. He's now equalled the Liverpool club record of 16 away league goals in a season for Liverpool, which was set by Jimmy Smith back in 1929-30. Be asking you questions about Jimmy Smith later, Dion. Here's Marmoush into the full-back position. Here's Foden with a challenge. De Bruyne trying to find a way through, bounces across the edge of the box, but Gravenberch is there. And Gravenberch actually just hits a ball downfield. It'll give possession back to City. But We're not yet into those 2 minutes of added time, but we nearly are now, and Liverpool will absolutely take this, won't they? 2-0 at half-time, sitting pretty.
Yeah, they are at the moment, but I think what you said, John, a few minutes ago about City still being dangerous, I agree they are, because they've got lots of good players and just haven't been, choosing the right decisions in that final third. Every time the wingers of City get the ball, they're doubled up. They've got nowhere to go.
It's a bit of a contrast, actually, if you think back when you and I saw them in the early winter, as Ake passes the ball out to the right-hand side. Do you remember in that week, Liverpool won at home against Real Madrid, and then on the Sunday, won at home against Manchester City, the 2-0 wins, really good wins.
Absolutely,
and now here we are, Manchester City, having lost to Real Madrid in midweek, are now losing to Liverpool at the weekend in the Premier League. It is Husanov on the right-hand side, passes it forward to Lewis, who nearly dropped down onto one knee there, but retains possession, and to Nico Gonzalez. Not so much Mini Rodri today, is it? Here's Doku, then to the edge of the box, Marmoush with his back to goal, and now he will try a shot, Nico Gonzalez, and in these slippery conditions, I thought he was going to stumble there, Alisson, for a moment, but the ball had been deflected, so Alisson was able to recover his position and just field the ball. Yeah,
and the conductor again, Virgil van Dijk, telling him to take his time, don't roll it out, don't show fullbacks, get up the pitch, let's just see this one out, take the lead into half. I'm pretty sure the whistle's going to go any second.
Yeah, launch downfield. Lewis just watching it drop over his shoulder. He's being chased all the way by Diaz, and Lewis in the end actually has to keep it in and turn it away, and then Luis Diaz still all over the back of him and forces a mistake by De Bruyne, but it bounces off McAllister, and therefore Savinho can give it to Gvardiol. Still time for one attack at the end of this first half. Gvardiol to Doku, Alexander-Arnold across there, Doku plays it past him, leaves Alexander-Arnold behind him. Salah comes back as well, though. Excellent work Salah has done in this first half to support Alexander-Arnold. Comes back centrally for Nico Gonzalez, and then all the way over to De Bruyne on the right-hand side. Yes, as well as De Bruyne lines this one up, but gets that all wrong. Slipped as he hit the shot, and it lands out of play. It actually bounces out of play next to the corner flag, as Szoboszlai threw himself in front of that, forced De Bruyne to shoot wildly wide, and that sums it up for Manchester City. 2-0 Liverpool at half-time.
Absolutely. I just think, the work from Salah there to get back, the work that Szoboszlai's got through, Diaz has got through, the organisation of Konate and Virgil van Dijk, they're all doing something. They're all contributing, all the players in a red shirt at the moment. They're all doing what they need to do. If they do their individual jobs, they are such a potent machine, and they're doing it well in this first half. Deserve the lead, and that's with 32% possession.
Yeah, Manchester City did have the ball in the net, but rightly ruled out for offside. But other than that, Alisson has really not been overly troubled, and Liverpool leading through the Salah and Szoboszlai goals. They're on course to win here at the Etihad Stadium for the first time for almost 7 years, and they're on course as well to go 11 points clear at the top of the Premier League tonight. Half-time, Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2.
Jules, Liverpool are an outstanding team. In that first half, they've made that look very, very routine.
Yeah, very routine, right, very easy. They're so efficient in everything they do. They're just always, the shape is perfect. Nobody is out of shape. Okay, Trent struggled at times a little bit with Doku, but we've seen Trent struggling against other wingers in the league. We know defensively it's not his forte, but apart from that, everything, the way they press, and the first goal, great combination on that corner, similar to the goal that Bournemouth scored against Arsenal a few months ago. Same kind of combination, but before that they recovered the ball really high to get to that chance that maybe John and Dion were rightly saying they didn't make the most of it because there was space for Szoboszlai and then Salah and then Diaz again. They got the corner, they score on the corner. The Szoboszlai goal is just exactly what they do. They're just so efficient and they don't waste anything. That's the thing. They had 3 shots today. They scored 2 goals with 30% of the ball.
Dion, I mean, that Kevin De Bruyne shank right at the end of the half just sort of sums up probably more than Manchester City's afternoon. It sums up a lot of their season. There were times, though, watching Szoboszlai in that first half, at times he is De Bruyne Bruyne-esque, peak De Bruyne-esque in the way he moves, that reverse finish through the legs. It's so smooth and classy.
Yeah, it is, and you know what? I know you can say that about a lot of Liverpool players at the moment, because what they do, Stephen, and it's sat here watching this game, what they do is they're happy to do their teammates' work for them, because they know that their teammate will do that for them as well. They're very together. If Szoboszlai goes and doubles up at left back with Andy Robertson, then Diaz will do it next time, and McAllister will do it next time. It's all for the common goal, and that's to stay at the top of the tree. They are so organised. I think Jules made the great point. They're just organised and they're efficient, and the defenders defend, the midfielders create, and the forward players score the goals. It's very, very simple.
They're not particularly sexy words, organisation and efficiency, Jules, but you can just see how, and it particularly applies to Van Dijk and Konate, how much they enjoy it. You know, at times, there was one when it went out for a corner over there, and Van Dijk and Konate looked like two NBA giants celebrating somebody's rebound, having the time of their lives.
Yeah, they're in control completely, and I think Konate and Van Dijk have been the best centre-back partnerships in the league so far this season. I know the Arsenal defence, I think, is still right now the best defence in the league, but I think Van Dijk and Konate have been the best two centre-backs, even better than Saliba and Gabriel, really. And when they're in control like this, and again, we highlighted before the game that Guardiola went with a very attacking lineup, and okay, you take a risk, you have to win. The Newcastle win over Forest was not a good thing for City. They come here, but that second goal for Szoboszlai comes also because Nico Gonzalez on his own is so exposed to the runners from Liverpool, Jones and Szoboszlai, McAllister sometimes, plus the two wide players, and Nico on his own can't do it all. He can't cover that space on his own, whereas for Konate and Van Dijk, they've got Gravenberch, McAllister there, and like Dion was saying, sometimes Diaz comes also, Jones comes left, somebody comes right. We saw Salah effort defensively again in this first half, outstanding. There's none of that at City.
Pep Guardiola, meanwhile, and we were watching him throughout that first half, fuming.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, I think he was 5 minutes in, and the boys were doing the commentary. He was already shouting at Marmoush and Foden for not pressing Konate, who was on the ball, literally waiting. You are home here. It's still 0-0. It's a game you have to win. You have to do something, and yet they just don't put any pressure on the guy on the ball for Liverpool. And in this case, Konate, who's not even as good with the ball than Van Dijk is. So, and yet they don't put him under pressure at all. And Guardiola was shouting and shouting at Marmoush and Foden to get closer to whoever's on the ball for Liverpool when they try to build up from the back. And I just don't understand. It looks, Dion, if almost they didn't prepare this game in the right way, City, again.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on, and it's one of the most degrading things as a player if the opponents that you're playing against are basically saying, let him have it. He's not very good at the ball at your feet. And that's what they're saying about Konate. Foden's cut off Van Dijk, and you have to get close. Marmoush has to be closer. You've got to force Konate to do something, but they didn't. The whole idea is let him have it and then force him to do something wrong. But he's had all the time in the world, the ball at his feet.
And just in case any Liverpool players need a rest, just emerging in front of us to warm up at half-time, the substitutes, which include Endo, Jota, Cody Gakpo, who's fit again, and the wild card that is Darwin Nunez. Liverpool looks so comfortable at the minute, on their way to an 11-point lead at the top of the Premier League. We're going to speak to Robbie Savage shortly ahead of 6:06, which of course will be on as soon as we're done at the Etihad. We'll also hear from Lewis Miley, goal scorer, and Nuno Espirito Santo, the manager of Nottingham Forest, after Newcastle 4, Forest 3 in our earlier game in the Premier League. And then second half commentary from here at the Etihad. Let's get the news now on 5 Live with Dan Maudsley.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Thank you. In the last few minutes, the polls have closed in Germany, where millions of voters have cast their ballots in what's being seen as a pivotal election. An exit poll for the country's public broadcasters is forecasting that the Conservative opposition, led by Friedrich Merz, will emerge as the biggest single grouping on 29%, with the far-right Alternative for Germany in second on 19.5%, its best ever performance nationally. Our correspondent Nick Beak is at their party's headquarters.
Alice Weidel, the leader of the party, is on the stage now. She's addressing the party faithful. You can see and hear her behind me. I think the initial reaction was a little bit subdued because although this is a doubling of their share of the vote, compared with last time, I think a lot of people felt they had the momentum and really hoped that their share of the vote would be even higher. But the Chancellor candidate for the AFD has wasted no time in coming out here to address the party faithful.
Volodymyr Zelensky has said he would be willing to step down as the president of Ukraine in return for his country gaining NATO membership. Russia has maintained that Ukraine joining the military alliance would be a red line in any deal to end the war. Mr. Zelensky has been speaking on the eve of the third anniversary of the Russian invasion.
If there is peace for Ukraine, if you really need me to leave my post, then I'm ready to do that for the sake of peace in Ukraine. The second story, I can exchange this, stepping down, for NATO membership, if these are the conditions immediately. My focus is on the security of Ukraine today, not in 20 years.
Israel has expelled residents from 3 refugee camps in the occupied West Bank as it increases its military presence there. The Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said 40,000 Palestinians had been removed from camps in Jenin, Tulkarm and Ner Shams. And police in County Durham, searching for the missing 23-year-old runner Jenny Hall, say they found a body. She was last seen on Tuesday. Officers say the body was found in a remote area of Teesdale. There's been no formal identification. It's not believed there are any suspicious circumstances.
Red Nose Day is back on the 21st of March. Yes! So whether you sound like Rick, Rachel, or even this person, every laugh makes a difference. Woo! We're celebrating 40 years of comic relief and the nation doing something funny for money. Get involved by searching for Red Nose Day.
This is 5 Live Sports.
5 Live Premier League Sunday.
With Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
We're live from the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2. Liverpool, as it stands, going 11 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Earlier, Newcastle moved up to 5th with a thrilling 4-3 win over Nottingham Forest. Newcastle were 4-1 up at half-time. Another Alexander Isak double in the first half. One of their other goal scorers was 18-year-old Lewis Miley.
Yeah, it was really tight at the end. I think we got put under pressure a little bit, but I'm really glad we got the win. I think we've just got to look forward now.
How did that happen? So dominant in the first half, but you conceded the initiative in the second?
Yeah, I think they tried to make the game quite scrappy in the second half, which I think we needed to get the ball back on the floor, but I think that's what put us under pressure, and I think we needed to probably try and get back on the ball, but I don't think we did, so I think we're just glad we got the win, really.
Your equaliser sparked a run of 4 goals in 12 minutes. So firstly, from the context of the game, how important was that?
Yeah, it was really important. Obviously, it's a really important goal to get back in the game, and obviously them scoring an early goal, it's not what you want. But I think after that goal I scored, I think we got really back in the game. We played well after that and got a few goals.
And from a personal point of view, your first Premier League start in exactly 365 days. So to mark it with a goal, you must consider to have been significant.
Yeah, I'm really happy that obviously getting another goal from a boyhood club, I couldn't really be more proud. So yeah, hopefully I get lots more at the Gallagher end and keep going, yeah.
Lewis Miley with Match of the Day Stephen Wyeth. Forest stay third in the table. They're 3 points ahead of Newcastle, but that is a third straight away defeat for Nuno Espirito Santo's team. Here he is with Andy Giddings.
How disappointed were you with the performance in the first half, particularly the 11-minute spell in which Newcastle scored?
Very frustrated. We started really well. The ball, we pressed, we were creating problems, we scored the goal. And the momentum shift, it changed, the game changed, and was too fast and too... I have to see it to try and explain it better. What I see and what I feel, I'm sorry, but I cannot share with you.
Sure. Completely. It must be a difficult watch knowing that pace and physicality and the speed with which Newcastle were getting through.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the better bit then in the second half.
It's easy to speak about it.
Yeah.
Let's go for the second half.
Let's go for the second half. The second half was much change, wasn't it? And you set about Newcastle very well indeed. So what did you say to them at half time?
Not much, honestly. It was about trying to be ourselves. We were not us in the first half. It was about settling down, trying to put the first half away in our minds and play the second half properly. And I think we did it.
almost seemed like the age-old football thing to the 11 that started. You got yourselves into this mess, now try and get yourselves out of it, which for long spells they nearly did in the second half.
Yeah, they did it. The reaction was good, and that's honestly only positive that we take away from this game.
Sounds a bit fed up, doesn't he? Nuno Espirito Santo there with Andy Giddings. So Forest stay third on 47 points, Manchester City fourth on 44, and then Newcastle, as I say, up to fifth, 44 points from 26 matches. 08085 909 693. The lines are open for 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. They'll be on as soon as we're done here at the Etihad. Afternoon, Rob.
Afternoon, Steve. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good. I am starting to feel like it's going to be those Champions League places come the end of the season. That might be the thing that gives us the real jeopardy.
Yeah, you think if Liverpool can win this game, 11 points clear. Yes, Arsenal have got a game in hand, Steve, but it's those Champions League places. I think that, the four behind Liverpool, because that fifth place now is up for grabs also. And we went on last night, Steve, where we so obviously Arsenal fans can react to losing at home to West Ham. What a win it was for West Ham. Manchester United fans 2-0 down, 2-2. Well, as the young feature in the simulation game, that's the big one on Chris. I'm not spoke to Chris yet. Was it a penalty? That is a big question. What a win for Wolves, Steve. Are the bottom three, the three going down now with that 5-point gap now opened? And you say, what a win it was for Newcastle. Nottingham Forest, fantastic in that second half. Chris's Nottingham Forest, Steve, obviously losing the game. And Man City right now, out of Europe. Listen, what is going wrong for Pep Guardiola? But Liverpool, unstoppable. Could be a big second half, Steve. If Liverpool win it, 11 points, they won't lose that lead, will they?
Doubt it. How did you get on yesterday?
Yeah, we won 23 points clear. I think us and Liverpool, we should win it from here, the pair of us. But if we don't, who's the biggest bottle jobs?
Do you know what? I was wondering because you sound like you're losing your voice a bit, so I was worried that maybe you'd had to shout at the players a little bit yesterday.
I've got a terrible cold, so I apologise now for my voice on 6 till 6. I've had it for about 4 or 5 days, but 23 points clear, Steve, in my first managerial job. Not bad, doing okay.
Yeah, not too bad. 08085 909 693. Cheers, Rob.
Mate.
Robbie and Chris with you once we're done here at the Etihad. Elsewhere, Watford have moved to within 3 points of the playoffs with a 2-0 win over bottom club Luton in the Championship in League One. Wrexham are now just 3 points behind the top two after winning 2-1 at Mansfield in the Scottish Premiership. Hearts up to 7th with a 2-1 win at bottom of the table, St Johnstone. We've got half of the two teams that we need here at the Etihad, and you were just pointing out to me, Jules, that with goal difference you can almost turn that 11-point lead into 12.
Yeah, Liverpool plus 10 compared to Arsenal plus 38 to plus 28, and when you know that if they are level at some point, then the goal difference would be the difference maker. 10 goals already, even if there's still a long way to go, there's still 12 games to go, but plus 10 difference starts to make a big difference.
Virgil van Dijk bounds out of every single tunnel that he comes out of, and he's just stormed onto the field at the head of the line of red shirts. Ball on the centre spot. Second half commentary. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2. Dion Dublin and John Murray.
Still probably thousands of people yet to take their seats again for the start of the second half. Not the Liverpool fans. They're looking forward to more of this. 2-0 up Liverpool. Salah and Szoboszlai's goals. Anthony Taylor looking at his watch. You'll hear his whistle now. There it is. Manchester City begin the second half. No changes. There is no Erling Haaland. If you weren't listening earlier, he's not involved, but Pep Guardiola suggested that they hope that he might be able to be involved at Tottenham on Wednesday. But City, as they play the ball back to the edge of their own penalty area with Ederson in goal, Lewis, Husanov, Ake and Gvardiol are the back four. Diaz is among the substitutes here. Then Nico Gonzalez with Phil Foden, Kevin De Bruyne, Savinho and Doku, with Marmoush playing as the it's sometimes been Foden and Marmoush, sometimes Marmoush has been through the middle as City go back to Ederson again. And Liverpool with Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Konate, Van Dijk and Robertson, then Gravenberch and McAllister, and then their front line of Salah on the right, mainly Diaz on the left, and Szoboszlai and Jones, the two who have mainly been through the middle. Dion Dublin sitting next to me, watching Manchester City in possession. Just feels like feels like already 2-0's too much for Manchester City.
Yeah, and start the second half, Liverpool just allowing them to have the ball in the centre of the pitch and then deciding when to go, just waiting for that one red trigger, and they all go together. But there's no movement out of their shape until one player goes, and then they go together. And
the other thing as well, as mentioned, the fact that still hundreds, maybe thousands of people are yet to be back in their seats. You know, if Manchester City need the crowd and they need an atmosphere behind them, they're not getting it here, as Doku plays it through into the Premier League and into the penalty area, and Van Dijk comes across and gets a touch on that, and it rolls out of play for a corner. Actually, it's a bit of a cheap corner, this, for Manchester City. I think it's a bit of an issue at the moment in terms of home grounds and atmosphere because of the makeup of crowds. And we've had a number of instances recently of supporters leaving early, which of course is their right to do that, as Marmoush will take this corner from the left-hand side. In it goes, attempted flick on by Gvardiol, but that was well defended as well by McAllister, and Gvardiol just headed around the near post, and it's a goal kick to Liverpool. And it's the Liverpool fans you can hear away in the distance. There's really very little coming from the home section.
No, I would have expected these City fans to have drowned out that, I don't know how many's here today, 5,000 maybe, Liverpool fans. And they're not.
Here's Marmoush, receives it from Nico Gonzalez, square to Kevin De Bruyne, arriving on the edge of the box. Savinho tries to dink it into the penalty area, comes off the head of almost inevitably Van Dijk. And City again, sky blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks. Doku lets the ball come to a stop and then gives it a little swivel of the hips before he passes it, and it finds its way over to Husanov, who then looks to the far side to Savinho, who brings it infield, and then Nico Gonzalez puts his foot on it, sends it back to Kevin De Bruyne on the right. De Bruyne, an unused substitute in the last two matches, but not able to come up with any of the kind of magic that Manchester City need from him. The vintage De Bruyne we've just not seen. Ball is played back in behind Manchester City and Husanov, and Liverpool have got everyone back behind the ball, leading by 2-0. The message, I'm sure, from Arne Slot will be to keep this tight for as long as possible in the early moments of the second half. I guess they'll have expected Manchester City to really go at them. Here is Doku getting it down, Alexander-Arnold, then back to Gvardiol, touch from him into the penalty area, Konate stretch, then Doku takes it up, still inside the box on the left-hand side, very congested penalty area, back to Marmoush beats Szoboszlai, shot into the box, but it hit Van Dijk, bounced down, and Liverpool could clear away. And there's a little bit of a murmur there from the Manchester City supporters. They need much more of that though, and actually it bounces down for Liverpool over on the far side, and Robertson is able to play the pass to the far side, where Liverpool go back into their own half to Van Dijk, and Konate and Gravenberch, and then Van Dijk again is able just to trot back towards the edge of the penalty area. This is exactly what they want, to kill it in the early part of the second half.
It is, and what you want as well as a Liverpool side that's playing this way is you want your forward players to do that ugly work. Diaz is chasing down the fullback and he makes him make a mistake. They get really easy possession, nothing comes of it, but the intent's there.
Long pass from Alisson means that Manchester City have possession again, but they make nothing of it, and in the end the ball deflects out of play for a throw into Liverpool, level with the edge of their own penalty area. So 2-0 the Liverpool lead. If you've just switched on, Mo Salah scoring after a really well-worked corner, as Julien Laurent said to us on 5 Live at half-time, like the Bournemouth-Arsenal corner earlier in the season. Here's Marmoush approaching the edge of the area, given back to him by Konate. Marmoush tries to drag it, but then dives into Jones. The ball had gone, and Marmoush, trying to keep possession, dived into the challenge and caught Jones, who's gone down clutching his lower leg. And that looked quite a nasty one, I must say, and both players still down.
Yeah, Mark caught Andy Robertson with his studs there, whether it was
I think it's Jones,
before,
isn't it?
over
Jones.
the ball, round the ball, through the ball. He just takes a heavy touch. I think it's just studs on the top of the foot. I don't think the referee is going to do anything with this. I don't think there'll be a yellow card. I think it'll be just a free kick, and away you go. It is. I think what City are refusing to do, City today, is they're refusing just to cross it. There's no Haaland there, they're just refusing to cross it. That makes it even harder for them to score goals, because they're trying to score what we call a training ground goal, which is a tap-in, and it's hard to do when you've got so many red shirts in there.
Yeah, they're both okay, both up on their feet. Jones and Marmoush as well. Almost 53,000 inside the stadium for this. 52,803 is given as the official attendance, and Manchester City have got the ball inside their own half. Looked as though that might have been nasty for Jones. As I say, just overstretched Marmoush and caught him, but he's okay. So Manchester City have it again inside their own half. City with Ake, the ball at his feet. Foden makes the run, Marmoush makes the run, but the pass goes short to Doku, but Alexander-Arnold is right there with him. Doku forced to bring it in field, Jones with a challenge, and Liverpool have got it back with Luis Diaz. Comes to nothing, that Manchester City attack. Liverpool just too strong, and then Alexander-Arnold with the outside of his boot sprays a pass down the right for Salah to run onto, and Salah now into the box against Gvardiol, crosses with the outside of his left boot, stays in play, driven back across from the left-hand side by Andy Robertson, but all the way out of play for a throw into Manchester City.
Yeah, passing with purpose there from Liverpool. Listen, it was just every single pass from back to front was splitting two light blue shirts, then it was a turn, then it was a pass. They just passed the ball on outside of the right boot from Trent into an area for Salah. Nothing came of it. It was far too easy for Liverpool to play out there.
Salah going for one of those crossfield, he loves that, doesn't he, from that position?
Yeah, outside,
on his left foot, with the outside of his left foot.
Yeah, but he's, his outside of his left boot is probably better than anybody's good foot, to be honest with you, so why wouldn't he? And he's actually picked out his teammate or teammates on several occasions with that pass, so who are we to stop him doing that?
Well, absolutely, having just scored his 30th goal of the season, 25 in the Premier League, and the scoreline is exactly as it was at Anfield in December, where on that day, you'll remember, Dion, Liverpool were comfortably the better team. Here's De Bruyne though for Manchester City, trying to do something about it. Little ball in beyond Foden, Marmoush plays it infield, but groans from the home supporters. Szoboszlai brings it away. Salah then turns Gvardiol. Pep Guardiola suggesting that was a foul by Salah, but referee Taylor doesn't agree. Szoboszlai grows crossfield into the centre circle to Jones. He's been joined by Robertson. Robertson's carrying it forward. Luis Diaz is out there on the far side as Liverpool attack towards the end where all of their supporters are watching down. Luis Diaz into the penalty area, then just works it back, and then Liverpool go back to Alexis McAllister, and after that I think the Olays will begin. Yes, it will. Liverpool just knocking it around inside the Manchester City territory. It's not often you see this, a team coming here and playing like this against Pep Guardiola's Manchester City inside the Etihad Stadium. Control, that's the word.
It is, because that's the vein of form they are in. What a ball from Van Dijk over to Salah.
Van Dijk to Salah, pinpoint, right to his feet, controlled it, ran it. Gvardiol, little ball into the box. Szoboszlai tried to flick it back into the path of Salah, but fortunately for Manchester City, Nico Gonzalez was able to step in. Then Foden, back to Marmoush. Marmoush with Foden and De Bruyne through the middle, but they go back to Nico Gonzalez, and in that time Liverpool are back in position.
Yeah, and in that time, the crossfield ball from Van Dijk to Salah. Salah's one-on-one. The only player that you can play a 1-2 with is Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai's the furthest red player going forward, and he gets back. 50-yard run.
Doku now running it. Trent Alexander-Arnold tried to slip the ball into the area for Marmoush, but that was intercepted by Konate. Just stuck out one of those long limbs, cut out the pass, and Liverpool, all in red, bring it forward again, and it's chipped away. Alexander-Arnold suggesting that he was caught there. Nothing given. City with Foden, but his crossfield pass hits Gravenberch and then is headed back over the top harmlessly, or it should be, for Szoboszlai to return it to Alisson, who clears it up towards Salah. Salah uses his body to chest it down in the centre circle. Oh, the ball forward is good for Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz, defenders are there, and he just took a heavy touch in amongst all of that. Just got it caught up underneath his feet. So Lewis was able to nip in and take the ball away. Husanov and Lewis to gather the pass from Salah, though. Terrific.
Yeah, it was a great ball from Salah. I think the pass was under hit from Salah. I think Salah has to put it into a little bit more space. What Diaz doesn't want to have touches of the ball while he's being chased by defenders. He wants it in front of him so he can finish it first time. Not like Salah to get a pass wrong.
10 minutes played in the second half. Liverpool still in control and heading 11 points clear, and there's Gravenberch's ball through to Szoboszlai. There's no flag, 1-on-1, squares it, and it's tapped into the net by Jones, and there is no flag, even though Jones looks over his shoulder. It's 3-0 now to Liverpool. Manchester City's players look towards the referee, they look towards the assistant, but Curtis Jones and Liverpool's players and their supporters celebrate inside the stadium.
I think he's offside. I've had one look at this, just one look 2 seconds ago, and he looks offside to me. I think it'll be 2-0 after they've had a look at this VAR. So easy though, so easy to play through that flat back 2, back 3, whatever it was. And there's an old saying in the game, if there's no pressure on the ball, follow your man. Let's have another look at this and get another replay of this one.
Szoboszlai.
You know what? That's a tight one, that
is. Tight.
That is a really tight one.
It's the ball that was played through to Szoboszlai. The question is whether he was offside. And
I think Kusanov might be playing him on,
Yeah, I think it's Kusanov. It just depends what the angle of the lean is, and the pictures that we're being shown here are not from along the line, so that can be misleading. So this might take a moment or two. When you see the wider angle, offside, confirmed. They don't know it inside the stadium yet, but Anthony Taylor will give the signal very shortly, and it will remain Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2. And still we're waiting. Here we come. There is the rectangle, and there's the relief. And actually, the assistant referee does actually raise the flag now as well. So 2-0, and suddenly the Manchester City supporters seem to think that from being absolutely finished off in this match, there's still a chance. And Doku now into Marmoush, who shoots across the face of goal, and behind. It did go out before it curled back in, so it's given as a corner actually, because Alisson got his fingertips to that.
This place is full of Man City fans. I didn't know that. It's absolutely bouncing now. There they are here. I can hear them. It's like something like that has taken them to liven up, and now I can hear them all.
It was that feeling of staring into the abyss that they've been pulled back from, although 2-0's still bad enough for City. Here's the corner, but Van Dijk is up to head it away at the near post. Foden swung it in there, but Van Dijk got up and supremely headed it away. So it remains Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2. World Service listeners are back with us. They've already heard Salah score in the first half. Here is Doku down the left, crosses straight into the bended knee of Konate, and then the referee has brought that back for a Liverpool free kick.
He's done that so well today. Konate's done absolutely brilliant at centre-half, knowing full well that Doku's got the pace of whoever is in that right back spot, and every time he goes down the outside, because they are showing him down the outside, Konate's in a perfect centre-half position, stopping the ball going in his box.
Lines are open for 6:06. The first time this weekend you've had your chance to be part of the UK's most popular football phone-in on 5 Live. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting to take your calls on 08085 909 693 if you're a Newcastle United or Nottingham Forest fan heading back from St James's Park at what sounded like a very entertaining affair. Hearts winning at St Johnstone, Watford winning against Luton, Wrexham winning at Mansfield, and Liverpool 2-0 up here, and looking at an 11-point lead at the top of the table. The biggest lead to be lost to win the title is 13 points. Played forward towards Salah. Salah, ball across the penalty area, but that was cut out by Kusanov, who was able to clear it to De Bruyne, who's been put under pressure by McAllister and very nearly conceded a corner. Had to dive after the ball to scrape it away for a throw-in, or was it over the line for a corner?
I think it's a throw-in, actually.
It is a throw. Oh no, I think it is. I think it's a corner that's been given.
I don't think the linesman gave it, did he?
Yeah, well, anyway, Anthony Taylor wasn't far away, so there's another victory for the Liverpool supporters to cheer down in that corner. It was right under their noses. So it's a corner to Liverpool. It's from the side that they worked that excellent corner that led to the opening goal. So let's see what they do with this one. Liverpool with Van Dijk this time near the penalty spot. Salah is on the far side of the box. McAllister takes this in, he actually drives it towards Van Dijk, who gets up, chests it down, stabs it goalwards, and then Robertson shoots right-footed on the turn, but that was high over the top of the bar, and it's a goal kick, and it is still Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2, Dion Dublin.
Yeah, didn't quite get that one right. McAllister, what he was trying to do there, I think everybody thought it was going to Konate or Virgil van Dijk, and they were blocking two players. It was for Trent Alexander on the volley. Edge of the box, didn't quite catch it right though. That's another one that Liverpool have in their locker.
So the Manchester City supporters do now get into get their voices going. They've lubricated them at half-time. Finally, they've got their voices going again. It's a rare thing for Manchester City to fail to score here. I remember being here early in the season when it finished 0-0, when Inter came in the opening match of the league phase in the Champions League, and also obviously when they lost 4-0 at home against Tottenham, but rarely do Manchester City fail to get on the score sheet. As Marmoush is bundled over, that's a free kick to Manchester City, and Doku receives it, quick free kick from Nico Gonzalez, back to Doku down the left-hand side. Doku across the edge of the penalty area, Nico Gonzalez, square from him to Rico Lewis in a central position. Lewis out towards the right-hand side, and then Savinho back in field to Nico Gonzalez. But Liverpool, you can clearly see from where we sit here, low down at the Etihad Stadium, just to the left of the tunnel, the two lines of Liverpool, well drilled, holding on to this 2-0 lead. Doku though with a run into the box, deflected off Alexander-Arnold, but straight through and across the 6-yard box to Alisson, who is able to grab it into his chest. James McAtee is going to come on, and it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne who makes way. He's been quiet.
Yeah, he has been quiet, and he's had a quiet season, to be fair. He's not been fully fit, in my opinion. When he's a fully fit player, he's very, very effective, but when you're carrying injuries or niggles and stuff, the way he plays, he's all over the place. You just cannot get about the pitch. He can't affect a game.
Liverpool pouring forward. Luis Diaz now into the box on the left-hand side. Shoots across goal, and Ederson has to be sharp there with that save. Diving up to his left. It wasn't too far to his left, but it was well hit, and he pushed it away behind for a corner.
Yeah, he had to do something with it, though, because Diaz just dropped his left shoulder as he does. Comes inside, gets sight of those two posts, and he tries to smash it as hard as he can. It ends up going just over Ederson's head, and he just tips it over.
Corner for Liverpool, 2-0 up. Time ebbing away from Manchester City, already 17 points behind Liverpool in the league table, the champions of last season. When it all stopped last season, after the end of the campaign, Manchester City were 9 points ahead of Liverpool. So this is quite a swing, isn't it? Win today here, they'll be 20 points clear of Manchester City, the defending champions. Here's the corner from the right. McAllister deep to the back post looking for Van Dijk, but Gvardiol got up and was able to head it away. McAtee still waiting to come onto the field. Liverpool go back towards the halfway line and then all the way back to goalkeeper Alisson. If you just switched on, if you missed it, a big win for France in the Six Nations in Rome against Italy, as predicted really, but a scoreline of 73-24 to the French. So again, there will be the Rugby Union Weekly every day throughout the Six Nations to reflect on that from BBC Sounds. Here is Lewis for Manchester City. Lewis has just taken the ball forward 4 or 5 yards, and then he gets it back. Lewis puts his foot on it and uses Nathan Ake, curls it out to the left-hand side to Doku. But Liverpool, Salah and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they've clearly worked on that this week. Liverpool, Salah has been tireless really, as well as an assist and a goal. He's been there almost every time Alexander-Arnold has needed him. City go back to the halfway line. Kusanov then to Savinho. Savinho goes through the challenge of Robertson. Savinho into the box, lots of red shirts in there, plays it back to the edge of the area. Nico Gonzalez with a shot, but as he did so, Szoboszlai threw himself in front of that, and the shot deflected and bobbled away behind for what is given as a goal kick to Liverpool.
Yeah, now if I did have any hair and I was playing for City today, I'd be pulling it out, because, you know, if you get yourself into a centre-forward position, you're just getting no service at all. I mean, Nico Gonzalez is flashes at something, and having no chance at all at making Alisson make a save. McAtee on, De Bruyne off.
25 minutes to play. De Bruyne sprints off the field, and I was interested to see what, he's the captain of Manchester City today. Pep Guardiola extended a hand, there was a little exchange between them, but De Bruyne just sort of slapped his hand, raced past him, and we're looking down on him now, just taking his grey coat. I wonder whether somebody said something behind him there.
Yes.
He just had a word, didn't he, up towards someone sitting behind the Manchester City bench. City come into the penalty area. Savinho, but he's run out of pitch. The ball runs away over the white line after a burst through between a number of red shirts. It's through for a goal kick. It's been tough for City. It's been tough for Kevin De Bruyne this season. And whether Kevin De Bruyne at the age of 33, 34 this summer, whether we are going to see that magic again in the way that we saw, I'm not sure. Szoboszlai then fouls Doku, free kick to Manchester City in the middle of the Liverpool half. So James McAtee is on, the youthful McAtee, 22 years old, is taking up a position on the edge of the penalty area. Manchester City with this free kick, looking for the goal that would give them a foothold in the match. Taken short by Foden to Marmoush. Marmoush right-footed in, bounces down, there's the chance, but it is volleyed away behind by Konate. Just sat up there, but no one in a blue shirt could get there, and it was volleyed away out of play by Konate.
It's a decent cross. It's a decent cross into an area. You've got light blue shirts in there. You've got a chance of getting something. If it's not working for you and you can't play through this Liverpool side, give yourself a chance, put it in that area, see what happens, because today Liverpool are that organised, you play around them, you're not going to get anything out of this game at all.
Doku from the throw. Doku goes around the outside of Alexander-Arnold. Foden tried to play it back to the edge of the box, and then in goes Huzanov on Luis Diaz, but Luis Diaz, using that strength of his, is able to work it away from three Manchester City players, carried out the far side, but they've won it back. They've won back possession, Manchester City. Here's Ake. Pep Guardiola is urging his team forward. Phil Foden just forward of the centre circle, allows the ball to run to Rico Lewis, and then it is again Manchester City over there on the far side with Huzanov. Nathan Ake has a look up, but again it's the short pass towards Nico Gonzalez, right-footed ball to the feet of Savinho. Andy Robertson goes across to him. Luis Diaz there too, back to Foden, left-footed shot, hits the back of Gravenberch, the ball ricochets across there to the far side, back into the box where Andy Robertson is underneath that to volley it high, and it bounces towards the far side where it's actually kept in there by a combination of Huzanov and Luis Diaz, the final touch off the Liverpool man. The rain begins again, it's coming straight down now into the bowl of the Etihad Stadium. Looking up, seeing the faint blue glow in the executive boxes as Doku runs into the penalty area, works it back to Nico Gonzalez. Gonzalez looks up, just a crowd of red shirts in front of him on the edge of the penalty area. Liverpool defending this 2-0 lead. Savinho to the byline, pulls it across the penalty area, bounces though into the path of Gravenberch, who's able to chip it away. Pressure from Manchester City, but not any immediate sign of a breakthrough.
Absolutely not. To organise Liverpool, and Gravenberch is just sitting in that little area in front of his centre halves. McAllister's doing his bit as well. Jones has dropped in there. Salah's now in his own D. Szoboszlai, all in a great defensive position. They really are.
Yeah, after the draws at Goodison Park and Villa Park in their last two away matches in the Premier League, Liverpool are not minded to give this up. They were really stung, weren't they, by the Tarkowski goal that came out of nowhere. Here's Doku just drifting in from the left, but then again just allows the ball to stop, gives it back to Nico Gonzalez, square to Lewis. Now to the right-hand side again, where Savinho takes it down, moves away from Luis Diaz, beats Robertson, but Luis Diaz was there as the second line of defence to step in, take the ball away from Savinho, and Liverpool should play it away again. Szoboszlai is dispossessed. He's claiming that was a handball, but referee Taylor disagrees, and Manchester City start again. I told you earlier that Real Madrid were winning 2-0. Bayern Munich are winning 2-0 against Eintracht Frankfurt, Marmoush's former club. Scored 7 goals for them this season before his move to Manchester City, as Ake now has it for City. Gvardiol now down to the left-hand side. Then Doku into the box, shoots low, but that's blocked by a Liverpool leg, and it bounces back out of the penalty area. 20 goals for Frankfurt this season. Marmoush to add to the 3 that he's now got for Manchester City. City again, ball into the box, behind Marmoush, comes down for Doku. He shoots goalwards, but the bouncing shot is straight at Alisson, who's able to drop forward onto it. And no danger again for Liverpool. And we're going to see a couple of changes on a slot with less than 20 minutes to play. Dion, Tsimikas and Endo are going to come onto the field. Wataru Endo, who he was speaking glowingly of in the build-up to this match because of his effective role as a squad player. Endo is just being leaned over by Arne Slot, who's got his raincoat, his black raincoat, open at the front, one hand in the pocket. He looks as casual and comfortable as his team do with the lead that they have here. 606, waiting for your calls on 08 085 909 693. You can get in touch as well, hashtag BBC 606 or text 85058. Robbie Savage at half-time talking about this being your opportunity to talk about Arsenal and their defeat yesterday, which opened up the way for Liverpool to extend their lead here today. And of course Ashley Young, the penalty incident yesterday in the Everton-Manchester United match. So calls on that and anything else, very grateful. And it's going to be Andy Robertson making way for Tsimikas and Curtis Jones to be replaced by Endo. So I think Arne Slot, as the numbers come up now, bringing on Endo for Jones, who's played in an advanced position. So Endo will, I guess, try and make it more secure for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll just go and sit in that defensive midfield play position, and he'll just play as the pivot, sort of in that low block in front of his 2 centre halves, and he won't move at all. I just believe that the organisation that Slot has set his team out today has just been too much for City, and the energy levels that these Liverpool players are throwing about is just absolutely mind-blowing, and City just can't live with it at the moment.
And also, Dion, you know, we talk about the number of minutes players have had. 6 players have started all 9 Premier League matches for Liverpool in 2025, and Robertson, who's just been substituted, Alexander-Arnold, Szoboszlai and Diaz have started 8, and yet here they are. I did wonder, after the recent matches away from home at Goodison and Villa Park, which, you know, could potentially have taken a lot out of Liverpool, but here they are, and they will get a rest as well. They've got to play against Newcastle, and we'll have all of those Premier League matches covered in midweek on 5 Live Sport, as Ake sends a ball forward, but Van Dijk heads it out towards the right-hand side. Savinho is onto this, though, for Manchester City. Liverpool won't play next weekend. It's an FA Cup weekend. Savinho into the box, but Diaz and Tsimikas now doing their job. Out of the edge, the area, Lewis, Nico Gonzalez, they thought about shooting. He lifts the ball over the top. It's pulled across to the near post and is worked into the side netting by the sliding McAtee from a tight angle, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, first time City have actually got into dangerous area where they actually picked the right 2 passes. A lovely little floating ball in behind for Rico Lewis, and he slides and keeps it in. He tries to ping it across the box, but Virgil van Dijk is in the correct position again. Marmoush is right behind him for a tap-in.
Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2. And here's one for Salah to chase downfield. Ake had to make that. He hasn't cleared it fully, though. And Salah's back on this and shoots low. And Ederson has to go down to his right and make the same in the pouring rain. And Ilkay Gundogan is going to be sent on by Pep Guardiola now, who's quite damp down there. I can see the rain glinting off the top of his shaven head and on the tops of his shoulders just as he walks towards us, and the bench just wipes away the rain from his forehead. So Marmoush will be off, and Gundogan comes on. Here he is, Marmoush in the centre circle, so no Haaland, and very soon Marmoush won't be on the field either. Ake with the pass, but Alexander-Arnold is able to take that down quite easily, and Alexander-Arnold infield to Szoboszlai, and then Salah with a touch, but that will run to Husanov. Nico Gonzalez is warned by the crowd that Szoboszlai is coming, and they work it nicely here, Manchester City. McAtee and Foden and Marmoush, back to Doku again. Doku against Endo now. Then to the edge of the penalty area, Foden plays it back to Nico Gonzalez, then back to Doku on the edge of the area, weaving run into the box past Szoboszlai, round Alexander-Arnold, left-footed ball across, but then Endo's in the right place at the right time to swing a leg at it and put it behind, out of play next to the corner flag.
Yeah, Endo's done well actually so far, cut out a couple of problems potentially for Liverpool.
Corner taken short as City play it back towards Foden. Foden's left-footed ball towards the penalty spot, headed away by Van Dijk, and then Foden just nods it back into the path of Lewis. Going to be a double change. Ruben Diaz is going to come on as well for Manchester City. The ball bounces to Doku on the left, who's going to struggle to keep that in, and indeed it bounces behind and out of play, and I think we will see a triple change. Kovacic also stepping down, so Gundogan and Diaz and Kovacic, 3 more of the players who were involved in the Bernabeu on Wednesday night. But it's another chastening defeat for Manchester City. This is turning into the last 15 minutes now, and even for Manchester City, I think belief is beginning to eke away. Nathan Ake, who's missed a lot of football recently, Marmoush is taking his seat on the bench, and also Nico Gonzalez claps his hands as he leaves the field. That he grimaces, shakes his head, Nico Gonzalez, as he heads to his seat. There's a slapping of hands. But Manchester City, this will be the 14th defeat for Manchester City in the last 27 matches in all competitions. They're coming far, far too regularly as Lewis is barged into the back by Diaz. It's a free kick to Manchester City in the centre circle. Yeah, that was from Diaz on Rico Lewis, and I don't think we've had any cards today, have we? There's not been any cards or anything. The referee's done really well to let the game go. There's not been anything untoward, which is good. But also, Dion, in recent seasons when you and I have come to watch this match, whether it's at Anfield or whether it's here at the Etihad, you're keyed up. It's going to be a full tilt. The 2 of the best teams in the Premier League. Very often, the best 2 teams in the Premier League would be going at each other, hammer and tongue. Well, that's not the case today. It's been Liverpool's match, very, very comfortably, just like it was at Anfield. Yeah, look very comfortable. I mean, Gakpo just coming on now. Diaz making his way to the bench, and Gakpo just goes like for like, goes on the left-hand side. City just about no answers at all. They're going to try and get Kovacic on the ball now, try and see if he can create something. Gundogan's gone in at the false 9 in between Van Dijk and Konate. And Cody Gakpo coming on, who scored the opening goal against Manchester City at Anfield. Missed the last couple of matches, Cody Gakpo, but their second top scorer this season with his 16 goals. So Manchester City have another danger man to cope with if Liverpool are in a position to take advantage of him being on the field. We've seen lots of Manchester City possession. That's the thing, when you read about this match, if you I know Simon Stone and Phil McNulty are both writing about this, you'll read their reports on the BBC Sport website, on the football pages, that you've just pointed to it, Dion, possession-wise. I mean, City have absolutely dominated. It's 67% possession for City through the whole of the game, and not really created a lot. I've not seen Alisson diving about his goal, making save after save after save. Pretty weak from City when it comes to chances. You pointed that to me, then I realised that you probably didn't have your reading glasses on. Yeah, I didn't actually. So I'm a few years over 50 now. When you get to that 50 mark, you have to start squinting and getting your phone out and putting your light on when you get to a restaurant, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. You wait, people, you might be laughing at home now. Yes, I know. Yeah, you'll know it when it comes. It's on its way. It's on its way. I've already been through that. I've come out the other side of that. That's something for you to look forward to. Thank you. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2, 5 Live in the World Service. City through the middle this time with Doku, but Gravenberch just got himself in the way, as he tends to do. So effective. Gakpo coming on. I'm sure it's not a coincidence that Arne Slot has been able to get the best out as another City attack just fizzles away, bounces behind off Foden for a goal kick. I don't think it's a coincidence, is it, that Gravenberch, Gakpo, Van Dijk as well, a number of Dutch players have shone under this Dutch coach. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe it's just knowing your players. Maybe it's putting round pegs in round holes and just allowing them to do what they're good at and not forcing them to play in a position that doesn't really work for them. Given away by Alexander-Arnold. Kovacic was quickly onto that, but Szoboszlai won it back. And a long ball forward from Salah, who won't reach that. Diaz is able to get there. Mentioned the fact that Mo Salah has equalled the club record of 16 away league goals in a season. I mentioned Jimmy Smith to you in the first half, Dion. So he was playing back in the late 20s, that 29-30 season. So he had that brilliant season for Liverpool, and then he shocked the football world by moving into non-league football for the next season with Tunbridge Wells Rangers. That's a move. City playing the ball to the left-hand side where Doku chested it down, but Alexander-Arnold was able to clear away to the halfway line. Different times, Dion.
Yeah, just for the record, I didn't play against him, just for the record. I wasn't about the 20.
Ever played football in Tunbridge Wells?
I possibly have at some stage.
We're into the last 10 minutes now, and it's that sort of match. We're just ticking down the time here, unless Manchester City produce something remarkable, which again is something that I think I said in the Bernabeu on Wednesday night as well, without really believing that Manchester City were going to do it. But let's see. Foden, and Liverpool are just making them so hard to play through. Here's Foden through the middle, but that's Gravenberch with a challenge on him, and then Alexander-Arnold plays it off his England teammate Foden, and it bounces through and behind for a goal kick. Manchester City, the champions, Pep Guardiola, there's no animation from him, it's quiet in the stands, there's no conviction. That's where they are.
Yeah, it is, and I think Liverpool have forced City to look as poor as they have today as well, by the way that they've defended, by the way that Szoboszlai and McAllister have got through the workload, Diaz as well, getting through the workload. Everybody just doing what they have to do for the cause. City, very individual, very weak, energy levels aren't massive either, and you know, the fans need someone to cheer, and they've had nothing to cheer.
Now Liverpool have toyed with them here, and then Diaz blasts a pass into the back of Kovacic, and it bounces to Salah. If this ends up in a goal, this will be embarrassing. Szoboszlai in with a chance, but Ederson's able to come out and make the block. Defender was in there as well. Husinov threw himself at it. That would have looked absolutely awful if that had been the third goal for Liverpool.
Yeah, Diaz obviously not up to speed with the game, tried to play a pass over one of his teammates, hit him on the back, and Salah's in on a 2-on-2.
So it's a corner for Liverpool. They're in no hurry here. Liverpool supporters singing their songs and serenading Liverpool's first win here at the Etihad Stadium in the Premier League for almost a decade. Corner from the right for McAllister. Just backs away at an angle up the side of the pitch, McAllister. And then it's a high, deep one to the back post. Konate got his head to it. Salah hooks it back across the box, but then it's headed down and away. It bounces away for Gvardiol actually to carry it away. There's a run being made through the middle by Foden. Long pass, but Szoboszlai got his foot to it. It's pulled down by Alisson, and the Manchester City supporters, you can hear, they're claiming that was a back pass, not helped by the fact that Alisson looked as though he might head it away at one stage, but then decided he was all right to catch it, and Anthony Taylor immediately shook his head, waved his arm, and said that wasn't a back pass.
Who was that? Was it Trent Alexander-Arnold?
Szoboszlai.
Was it Szoboszlai? I'm not quite sure. Tsimikas maybe. One of them gets there to the bounce of the ball and literally puts it in the air. He's never going back to he could try and do it if he did it in training.
As Gvardiol, under pressure from Salah, has given the ball to Szoboszlai. 5 minutes to play here at the Etihad. Lines are open for 606 on 5 Live, 085 909 693. Listening as well on the BBC World Service. If you know your Manchester, it's a typical Manchester day, a winter Manchester day. It's grey, it's raining, it was blustery outside. It's been miserable for Manchester City. But Liverpool, they are in a beautiful place, leading here by 2-0. For all they're concerned, it could be blue skies and sunshine here with this scoreline. Gravenberch, left-footed to the halfway line. Diaz is underneath that, and then the challenge on Alexander-Arnold is out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City, who are heading to what will be their 8th Premier League defeat of the season for the champions. Again, no one was expecting that, were they? Certainly not at the end of October, when City were top of the table, but then knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Tottenham, and since then the nosedive has been astonishing. And now Doku on the left-hand side, again with no great conviction. Doku, Endo is there in position. Endo puts in the challenge, but Doku wriggles away from him. But then there's also Alexander-Arnold behind him, comes back to Kovacic. Lewis back to Kovacic on the edge of the area. In came the challenge from Endo, no free kick, and Szoboszlai has overhit that downfield, and it will bounce out of play for a throw-in to City.
He has overhit that, Szoboszlai, and Salah was on the march as well, left Guardiola for pace, better ball, bit more concentration from Szoboszlai. It might have been another chance for Liverpool.
Liverpool with this will do the league double over Manchester City as well for the first time since the 2015-16 season, so that is 9 years ago. That was Jurgen Klopp's first season. 2-0 away, 2-0 at home, and we have 3.5 minutes to play. We'll have the live interviews as well during the course of 6:06, so stay tuned for that with Arne Slot and Pep Guardiola. It's almost getting to the stage where you're not sure what on earth Guardiola is going to be able to say next about this latest defeat. Kovacic to Doku, miscontrols it out of play for a throw. Grealish is on the bench today, by the way, but not used yet by Pep Guardiola. Throwing to Liverpool halfway inside their own territory. So yes, lines open 08 085 909 693, and those interviews will be on the Football Daily, which will be the Premier League review edition on a Sunday night, Monday morning. You'll be able to get that from BBC Sounds, and all of our football podcasts are on there on the BBC, on the Football Daily feed, including the Commentator's View, which is our effort with Alistair Bruce Ball and Ian Dennis.
It's a good effort. It's a good effort.
Thanks, Neil.
It's a very good listen. Get yourself in there.
I was fishing for compliments. Gravenberch heading the ball away on the edge of the penalty area, forward from Husanov, and then Savinho with a Salah-like pass with the outside of his boot. Van Dijk was underneath that to head it away. It bounces down on the edge of the area, and Gravenberch then clears it away to the halfway line, where Gvardiol will send Manchester City forward on another attack. This has been the pattern, hasn't it? It was 2-0 at half-time, and in almost the whole of the second half we've seen Manchester City laboured attack after laboured attack. Doku, though, is able to pull the ball back to the edge of the penalty area. Gundogan was there, but it bounced away from him. Diaz thought about a shot from distance. Out to the right-hand side it goes to Husanov, and then Phil Foden, little one to Lewis. Lewis turns back to Kovacic, through the middle this time. Gundogan with a pass around the corner, straight to Liverpool, and then Gakpo is beaten to it by Husanov. A ripple of applause from the Manchester City supporters, but many of them are heading towards the exits now, knowing the game is up, as this latest ball across the Liverpool penalty area goes nowhere but to the feet of Alexander-Arnold. We've got 3 minutes of added time. Harvey Elliott's going to be brought on for the final moments of this match by Arne Slot. But what a first visit this is by Arne Slot as the Liverpool manager here to the Etihad Stadium to watch his team play like this.
Yeah, a memorable one as well, but I mean, to the letter, they've been outstanding, defended brilliantly, helped each other out, scored good goals.
Doku wriggles away from Alexander-Arnold, still going. Endo, though, puts in the challenge and brings that to an end. That did actually look as though it might turn into something, but no. And Salah, and then a back heel from McAllister, but that's delivered the ball back to Manchester City. So Diaz on the ball, uses Gvardiol to his left, and then Doku yet again. Doku, be interested to hear what you feel about the way that he's played Doku. He's seen a lot of the ball. You know how many attacks there's been as Kovacic spears a pass to the far side, looking for Lewis, but that's headed down and away by Tsimikas, and then Tsimikas again actually couldn't keep the ball in play, so it's a throw into Manchester City on the far side. What would you say, Dion? Doku, who's run at Alexander-Arnold and Salah time and time again, but really in terms of end product,
there hasn't been any. Nothing at all. Maybe shots on target, crosses. He's had a lot of the ball at his feet. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold has done really well today under the circumstances of Doku being a lot quicker than him, probably stronger than him as well, and he's limited Doku to very little in this game. Looks great, but no end product. It's not enough for me. If I'm a centre forward, I'm asking for more from my wingers. Liverpool defensively, I mean, you've got Salah on the edge of his box alongside McAllister and Gakpo, saying to City, break us down. I think Trent might be coming off now.
He is, yep, confirmed. And Kwanzaa also, so it's a double change. And Salah making way. So Harvey Elliott coming onto the field. So it's Salah and Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool do play on Wednesday night against Newcastle. Remember the 3-3 draw. And of course this is part of the build-up to the cup final. And so on comes Jarell Kwanzaa for the final moments of what will be quite a famous Liverpool win. There'll be plenty of Liverpool callers to 606 tonight on 5 Live on 08 085 909 693. After this, I would fancy Kwanzaa first contribution is to take the throw, which is sliced up in the air by Gravenberch, and then forward from Szoboszlai, and Manchester City will go all the way back to their goalkeeper Ederson. So Liverpool about to record their first win here since 2018. That is worth singing about, which the Liverpool supporters are doing. They are singing, quite literally, in the rain. Here's Foden to the right of the centre circle, taps it to Kovacic. Kovacic again rolls the ball out to Lewis on the right. Huzanov makes a run down the line, comes back centrally to Kovacic. Kovacic with a little stuttering run forward, scoops it forward, headed down by Gvardiol, but just runs through to Alisson, who's able to drop onto the ball. It's been extended actually to 4 minutes of added time when the signal came up. So 4 minutes of added time. Alisson with the ball in his hands. Got more live sport for you in the morning, by the way. The Champions Trophy coverage continues on Sports Extra. It's Bangladesh, New Zealand in the morning. England, Afghanistan on Wednesday. Monday Night Club on 5 Live Sport tomorrow night. And we're looking forward to bringing you lots of FA Cup commentaries next weekend, starting Friday night with Aston Villa against Cardiff City. We'll have commentary on Manchester City against Plymouth as well, which is the Saturday tea time match. Plymouth, in recent seasons, Plymouth would have come here with no great hope or expectation, but I suppose they'll feel that there is a possibility against Manchester City in this current form. 2-0 down here and well beaten as the rain pours down. Liverpool it is who'll have one last attack through McAllister. And McAllister, it's actually 4, it's now 5 against 3 for Liverpool. Tsimikas' ball across the box, hits the defender, bounces back to Tsimikas. Tsimikas works it back, couldn't find Gakpo, and Manchester City are able to scrape it clear. And they themselves will break, but Kwanzaa's able to cut that one out on the halfway line. 30 seconds to play. Harvey Elliott now into the action for the first time on the right. Elliott, who just keeps possession and plays it back towards the halfway line. And the Liverpool fans are singing, Dion, we're going to win the league.
Yeah,
well, I think with a double-digit lead, I'm not sure we've heard that before.
At this stage?
Well, not in February.
No, not at this stage we haven't, so fair play to them.
Well, there is a note of the Liverpool confidence. They've decided that with a double-digit lead, it will be an 11-point lead, that they've decided that they can be confident, and why not? Gravenberch with one final pass forward to Szoboszlai, the man who scored the second goal, but Ederson's able to get there first and clear it downfield. Foden away from Konate, and then a last chance for Doku against Kwanzaa, goes down. Referee Taylor says no free kick. Konate and Kwanzaa together, and that is it. That is the last action, and Liverpool have won here inside Manchester City's home ground in the Premier League for the first time for almost a decade. First time since 2018 in all competitions, and what a landmark win it is for Arne Slot's team. This remarkable season that he's having. Looking down at him now, all of his coaches, the substitutes have walked down off the bench. It's handshakes and slapped hands all round there to celebrate. And Arne Slot coming here for the first time as the Liverpool manager. What a day for him, what a win. 2-0, 11 points clear at the top of the Premier League.
It sounds like they're going to win the league if you listen to their fans. And this performance was very professional for me. It wasn't scintillating Liverpool. It was organised. It was, let's just do what we did on the training ground. The first goal was off the training ground, every single player. And what I see from this Liverpool side as well is individuals that are happy just to do what they need to do to get over the line. Doesn't have to be 3 and 4 and 5 goals. They are winning games in any way, shape or form they can, whether it looks pretty or not. And they all work their socks off. Deserved it by a million miles today.
Pep Guardiola is out there on the pitch as well. His black jacket is absolutely soaked by the Manchester rain. He's just experienced his first home defeat to Liverpool in the Premier League. And it's the same scoreline as it was at Anfield before Christmas. 2-0 to Liverpool there. 2-0 to Liverpool here today with those goals from Salah and Szoboszlai in the first half. And what you have to say is, for both matches, Liverpool were worthy winners against the champions and are now looking stronger than ever at the top of the Premier League. Manchester City 0, Liverpool 2, the final score.
A 17-point lead as the Liverpool players celebrate and walk towards their fans away to our right-hand side. 08085 909 693. You can call in now. 606 is on the way. 11 points Liverpool have over Arsenal. 20 points Liverpool have over Manchester City. Those numbers, Dion Dublin, if I was a Liverpool fan, I'd probably be singing we're going to win the league as well.
Yeah, and they believe it. I mean, they've got the ground floor tier, middle tier, top tier, absolutely jam-packed with red, and they've sang for most of this game as well. Their players gave them something to cheer about. Like I said, they weren't scintillating, but when you've got players like Gakpo and Endo and Szoboszlai and Jones who just get the job done. Konate and Van Dijk were very, very good today. The orchestrators of organisation, doing everything it takes. Steve, you don't have to win 3 and 4. You're away at City. City had no answers at all. When Liverpool camped in, they were in a 5-4-1. They just couldn't break them down. There was no energy. I just don't know what's happened to City.
Great scenes from the Liverpool supporters, as you say, Dion, in the various floors, ground floor perfumeries, the sweet smell of success. And they've cheered every Liverpool player who's gone across there. Alisson with his clean sheet here at the Etihad. As I say, not many teams stop Manchester City scoring on their home ground, but Manchester City's players have disappeared away down the tunnel, and Liverpool can soak it up, Steve.
Well, I've just seen Kevin De Bruyne as well depart, hands thrust into pockets. You saw him having a little bit of a back and forth with somebody in the crowd. We saw a shot of Erling Haaland just before the full-time whistle, looking absolutely fed up to the back teeth. And actually, there was a point during the second half where Pep Guardiola shrugged his shoulders. He was out on the edge of the technical area. He walked back towards the bench. His head was down. He kicked an imaginary football. We've seen fury from Pep Guardiola at times, booting the seats and that kind of thing. That looked a lot like acceptance, frustrated acceptance.
Yeah, Pep's been pepped, I'm afraid. And I think what he was feeling today is what many managers over the last 5, 6, 7 years that Pep's been here dominating this league feel like. He had no answers to Slot's organisation. He had no answers to Liverpool's pace and endeavour. And I just believe that City, you know, they've got good players out there, but there's a link, a missing something. Is it age? Is it... Well, it's not quality, I can tell you that, Steve, because the quality they have is outstanding. Is it not wanting to work so hard? Is it not being able to work as hard as your opponents? Well, from what I've seen today, there's a lot missing from this City side.
There was 2 guys just beneath us who a second ago had a big Egyptian flag out, taking a couple of photographs. We said before, many of our listeners via the BBC World Service will be thinking about that big Egyptian derby. There was a big Egyptian derby at the weekend, I'm told. This one, Manchester City and Liverpool, was all about Omar Marmoush and Mo Salah. A clear winner, John Murray.
Yeah, he had the ball in the net, didn't he, Marmoush, in the first half, but correctly ruled out for offside. He had an effort in the second as well, which was tipped away. I think it might have been going wide anyway. But I'm afraid you look at this, 2-0, Salah scores 1, and sets up the other one for Szoboszlai. There's a clear winner there in that particular contest, as you would have expected with the Egyptian king against the Egyptian prince.
Very good. The reason I said 17 points before is I was just looking down. The season after Liverpool won the Premier League under Jurgen Klopp, they ended up 17 points off the top. The season after Manchester United won it for the final time under Sir Alex Ferguson, they ended up 22 points off the top. Manchester City right now are 20 points off the top. It doesn't matter, Dion, how long an empire stands for. It can fall in a year or a few months or a few weeks.
Yeah, it can. I mean, if you don't keep adjusting the building and making the building stronger, then at some stage it will fall apart and you won't get the same results from that building, that team, whatever you want to call it.
Well, let's carry on that metaphor, because I think that Pep Guardiola thinks that those bricks looked a little bit sturdier in the summer than they do now.
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. And I think from what you just said there, Steve, he turned his back on the pitch and he kicked an imaginary ball. That's very much gosh, what are we doing wrong? Why can't we get over the line? What are Liverpool doing? Why did we lose this game? He has all the answers, but I'm not sure he has all the tools to correct the sturdiness of the house.
Nice. And trust you to talk about houses.
It's funny that, isn't it? Yeah.
One more, John, just before, because we've got 606 on the way. By the way, I'm told Rangers fans possibly stand by for some news that you might want to get into on 606 08085 909 693. But I just wanted to ask you one, John, on Kevin De Bruyne, because I would say, of all the commentators that I have worked with, you have enjoyed Kevin De Bruyne the most. I can remember numerous times where he's been brought off in a game, and as the neutral that you are, you've been disappointed. I thought the same as you in that second half. A man who turns 34 this summer, you do wonder whether the absolute magic can still come back.
Well, I felt that it said it all the other night when the team sheet came out. Obviously, we focus on the fact that Haaland's on the substitutes bench, but the fact that De Bruyne was on the substitutes bench as well and then wasn't used was not actually particularly surprising, because that's where he is now. 17 starts now this season, come on as a substitute in 10, but it's just that his influence this season, his influence has waned. Whether he'll come again or not, well, we'll see about that. And there was a great deal of talk, wasn't there, at the end of last season about the possibility of him moving to Saudi Arabia. We don't know. We'll only find this out in the fullness of time. But was actually Kevin De Bruyne accepting and acknowledging that perhaps his best days had been left behind him and that it was the right time to leave? But Manchester City, as you do, felt that he still would be able to contribute and wanted him to stay here for a little while longer, which is what he's done. And now this is the Kevin De Bruyne we're seeing.
It might not be that we see the back of Kevin De Bruyne in this country. It might be that he has to go to a team which is not as demanding on the legs for Kevin De Bruyne, and he may have to play a different position and a different role. The Kevin De Bruyne that we've seen, John, for many, many years has taken charge of games and often won games on his own. He is that good, and he still has that talent. I'll say it through experience. The talent never goes, the legs do.
Yeah, and I felt it was quite sad the other night that he had to sit and watch his last Champions League game in all likelihood.
John, Dion, thank you both very much indeed. Correspondent John Murray and Dion Dublin here inside the Etihad. This is Liverpool's day. As I look opposite me, the big Manchester City electronic advertising hoardings are scrolling the message round: Manchester City champions 4 in a row. And really fittingly, there is a big red Liverpool banner which is now just being draped over exactly where it says champions 4 in a row. Liverpool's day, surely now Liverpool's year. Their fans are going to be celebrating this long into the night, victorious, comfortably so here at the Etihad.